Hi Jerry, it's episode 1 of Jerry Learns to Cook, and today we are making secret apples. So Jerry, secret apples. You gotta grab a few things that you need to make the recipe. We need apples, and we need some cinnamon, and cinnamon is a bark of a tree. Isn't that cool? It comes all rolled up in a stick like that. We don't need that kind today, Jerry. We just need the kind that's nicely powdered up. I'm sure you have some in the cupboard. And we need some granulated sugar. And we need some things to measure with. We need measuring spoons. And we need measuring cups. You need a 1/2 cup measuring size. If you have a jar, that's going to be great. And you need a bowl. You need a grown-up to help you with the cutting because you're going to be using a knife, or the grown-up's going to cut up the apple for you. So go grab all those things and let's get started making secret apples. Okay, so the first part that we're going to do is make cinnamon sugar. And you're going to need the jar, you're going to need your measuring utensils, you're going to need the white sugar, and you're going to need your powdered cinnamon. So we're going to take and we're going to put 1/2 cup of sugar in the jar. Pour it carefully into the jar. Then you need 2 1/2 teaspoons or 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to use the 1/2 teaspoons because it's easier to put in the jar. When you're taking it out, push it a little bit on the top so it's nice and flat and you don't get too much in. Carefully put it in. One more, because you want 2 1/2 teaspoons or 1 whole teaspoon. If you put it a little extra or a little not enough, it'll still taste really yummy. Now put the lid on your jar. And this is the fun part. You get to shake it all up. Shake, shake, shake. Oh! See, now it's nice and mixed together. And we're not going to use all of the cinnamon sugar for this recipe, but you can keep this batch stored in your cupboard for a long time and use it for the next time you make cinnamon apples, or maybe you might like to try cinnamon toast. Okay, this is the part you need the grown-up for. So, I'm going to cut up the apple. You must have a grown-up either watching you or helping you do the cutting. I'm going to show you guys a really cool way to cut the apple and not have to take the core out though. So, if you cut straight down, here's the core, and I'm going to cut straight down the side. Very carefully, whenever you're cutting, make sure you take your fingers and you keep them away from your knife. Cut straight down carefully. Now, you turn your apple onto the flat part and cut again next to the core, but not into the core. I'm going to turn it again onto the flat side, and I'm going to cut it again, but not through the core. One more time. I don't have to take and core my apple at all. I do want to tell you guys that I did wash the apples before I started cooking with them. It's really important to wash your apple. So, here we go. Next we'll cut them up. So now we have to take those apples that we cut up and we're going to make them into slices. Always work with your apple flat and curl your fingers in so you don't cut anything up. And then I'm just going to slice through the apple nice and gently. And I want nice thin apple chunks, but whatever you like. If you like big chunks, that works too. In fact, I'm going to cut some big chunks because you might like your apples in chunks. So, you could do it like this, a couple of cuts across like that, And then maybe you want to turn it once and just make a couple of bites like that, because chunks are good too with cinnamon sugar on them. Really doesn't matter how you cut the apple up. Any way you cut it up, the apple's going to taste really good with the cinnamon sugar on it. A few more slices. Another fun thing about this recipe is I kind of like to eat a whole apple myself, but maybe you have a friend coming over. Just make 2 apples and double the amount of ingredients, and you'll have recipes for your friend too. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add the cinnamon sugar, and we'll get to that in just 1 second here. Let me find the teaspoon. You're going to need your teaspoon again. Okay, Gerry, this is the final part of the recipe. You need your teaspoon, and you need your cinnamon sugar. And you need to take 1 teaspoon of the cinnamon sugar, and you sprinkle it onto the apples. Sprinkle it onto the apples, and then all you need to do is mix it up. Voila! You've got secret apples ready to go. I always like to find there's always the one that has the extra cinnamon sugar, so I eat that one first. Have fun!